Hello creative minds, welcome back again to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Marvelous, and on today's project we are going to be learning how to make this overbust corset that you see here. If this is what you would like to learn, kindly stick with me to the end and watch and learn. Okay, so if you're yet to subscribe, don't forget to do so. Subscribe. All right, let's get right into it. So I've gone ahead to draft my basic bodice pattern. I've gone ahead to also draw out my chest line, my bust points, my under bust, my waistline, and also the length of the top I want. Okay, so just go ahead and also do yours. So I'm going to go ahead and impute my nipple to nipple measurements just like so. So just go ahead and insert your nipple to nipple measurements. Mine is 8, so I'm going to be imputing 4 inches. So ensure that you measure accurately all the way to the top part and draw a straight line just as seen. So next on, I'm going to be imputing my round bust measurement, and I'm going to draw a straight line all the way to the waistline just as seen. Okay, so at this point I'm going to be doing an under bust tightening. At that point I measured what my under bust was, and I had about 3 inches differences. So I'm going to be imputing that 3 inches at this point. So I'm going to be going out by 1 inch here, and I'm going to be imputing 2 inch at that point just as seen, and I'm going to draw a straight line all the way down to my top length. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and also impute the measurement all the way down, so I'll have an accurate straight line. Okay, so after doing that, I'm going to go ahead. I went ahead to highlight it so you can see it clearly. So next up, I'm going to be connecting the line with a curve to my chest line. Okay, okay, so next off I'm going to go ahead and insert my shoulder measurement. I'm going to be dividing my shoulder into 2, and I'm going to be connecting that line to my chest line. Okay, so the next step now is to go ahead and insert where I want my overbust corset to start from. Okay, so I went down just as you see me do, approximately 4 inches. You can go down more than if you want to. Then I went out by half an inch, and I came down at my chest line by half an inch and connected it to my new armhole. Then at that point I went out by half an inch on both sides and went up by another 3 inches. Then I went half an inch to connect it to my chest line just as seen. This will enable us to have our overbust tightening. Okay, if you don't understand what I did there, you can watch again. So I went down at my chest line by half an inch. Depends on how open you want your overbust corset to be. You can go down as high as 1 inches. So now I'm going to be drawing opening it up and closing up that that I did there. Okay, I'm going to be closing it up and I'm going to be joining it. This will enable me to have a good curve down to where I want my overbust corset to begin with. So I'm going to be taping that point all the way down before I curve it from that point, from my armhole point to where I want my overbust to start from. Okay, this is to enable us to get an accurate curve. Okay, so I'm going to also open it up now so you can, for us to continue our other measurements. Okay, you can see that it didn't give us a straight line. If I hadn't curved it that way, I wouldn't have gotten what I wanted. So now I'm going to be going up at my waistline by 1 inches. Okay, that's because our waistline, our front and our back is not straight, so I'm going to be going up that point by half an inch. So now I'm going to be measuring what I have over there. So I'm going to be taking out 2 inches. This is just for us to have that that line, to have our curve line. So I'm going to be going down at that point. I'm also going to be going by half an inch. This is just to enable us to have that curvy design at that point. This part is actually optional, you can do without it, but I just wanted to have that beautiful curve shape at that point because our overbust corset is going to be coming in 3 parts at the front. So next off, I'm going to be going ahead to impute my my length, that is the length of my top. I'm going to be imputing, that is my round hip measurement. I'm going to be imputing it there, and I'm going to also check what I took out for my dart, and I'm going to be imputing as well, and I'm going to curve it all the way to I'm going to be curving it back to where I took out my dart from at my waistline, just as seen right now. Okay, so our next part is I'm going to be going up a little bit by 1 inch just to give my overbust corset a little bit of curvy shape at the down part. This is actually optional. Okay, when I'm cutting on my dress, I'm going to be imputing back this 1 inch that I took. That's because at this point it has reduced the length of my overbust corset, and I wanted it a little bit long to my hip point. All right, so just watch as I cut. I hope you understand every process that I did. If you didn't understand, kindly go back and watch and look at the steps I took. So I'm going to be cutting out the parts that I don't need, so just watch what I'm doing. Okay, so by the time I'm done cutting, I'm also going to be imputing my 1 and 2 together to get an overbust design shape that I want. That part is actually optional as well. You can also do without it, but I want a particular shape, so I'm going to be closing my darts after I'm going to be closing my darts. All right, so when I'm cutting on my fabric, I'm going to be pinning down that part that I just folded and cut on my fabric. So next we are going to go ahead and label our front piece 1, 2 and 3, and also mark it in a way that you can understand, so that when you are cutting on your fabric, you know the exact part you are cutting. So at this point, I'm going to be joining that under bust part, that is my under bust. Yes, I'm going to be joining it together. Then I'm going to be, you can go ahead and pin down if you want, but I'm going to be taping it down. Then I'm going to be going out by 2 inches. Then I'll connect it to that point that you see. Okay, that's the under bust point. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out. Ensure that you tape it down properly so that it doesn't move out. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out just as seen. Okay, this is just because of the design I want for my overbust corset. You can go ahead and do the kind of design you want for yours. So go ahead and label your center front, your side front. Okay, so for the back piece, I've gone ahead to draft our basic bodice, chest line, my waistline, my under bust. Okay, so I've also gone ahead to insert my nipple to nipple measurement. So at that point, I'm going to be taking out ½ inch on both sides for my darts. I'm going to go down by 1 inch at my chest line, and I'm going to connect it all the way straight down. Okay, so this back piece is also going to be coming out in 3s. So I'm also going to be dividing the back into 3 parts. So at that point, I'm going to also come out by approximately 3 inches, okay? Then I'm going to be taking 1/4 inch for the darts, okay? So from that, I'm also going to be drawing a straight line just as you see me do. Then I'm also going to be taking out the 1/4 inch dart that I imputed, okay? That part is going to be obviously cut out, okay? I'm going to highlight it with a marker so you can see exactly what I mean. So now I'm going to be imputing my round bust measurement, and I'm also going to be imputing all my other measurements at that point, all right? Taking out what I took out for the dart and replacing it as you see me do, okay? So I'm going to replace it and I'm going to draw a straight line all the way to my bust point. Okay, I'm also going to be measuring my hip measurement. I'm going to be taking out what I took out for my dart and I'm going to replace it and I'm going to give it a curve just as seen, okay? So I will highlight the parts that we'll be needing so you can see the parts that we're going to be cutting out. All right, this part that I'm astericing is going to be cut out, obviously. All right, so next off, I'm going to be giving it that curve that I did at the front, 1 inches on both sides. This is actually optional. You can do without it. As I said initially, this is just to give my overbust corsets a curvy shape at the down part. So I'm going to be taking out 2 inches for my back opening. At this point, I did 2 inches because that's my preference. You can go as deep as 3 to 4 inches, okay? It depends on what you want and how open you want your back to be. So I didn't want mine to be open, so I'm doing 2 inches. So I also came down by 1 inch at the upper part as well to give my back again a curve. All right, so I'm going to be taking out that 2 inches out. All right, we're not going to be needing that part, so just watch as I cut and you see the parts that I'll be labeling. So here's our 1, our 2, and 3. Okay, that is our side back, our side back, and our middle back. All right, that is our center back, middle back, and side back. All right, at this point, if you're here to subscribe to my channel, kindly do so by clicking on the subscription button and also turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I post new tutorials. Don't forget to comment, like, follow, and share. And if you have any questions, I'm open to answer all your questions. So just leave your comments, your questions on the comment section and I'll answer them. So at this point, ensure that you are cutting the parts you don't need and not. So I've gone ahead to cut out all my pattern on my fabric. I've also gone ahead to cut out lining piece and also a gum stay for it. All right, I'm also going to be padding the lining part of this corset, okay, for our overbust. So yeah, this is what it looked like by the time I was done ironing my hairstay on them. This is the front piece, okay? So this is what it looks like, all right? So for the back piece, I've also gone ahead to iron my stay, and I've also gone ahead to do what I did for the front at the back as well. All right, so I'm going to be joining them together. So I've gone ahead to join the front piece. This is what it looks like. This is the inside and this is the outside. Okay, for the back piece, I've also gone ahead to join them together. I also went ahead to join the lining. You can see how beautiful our cup has come out. All right, I went ahead to insert my breast pad. Then I also went ahead to join the back lining as well, just as seen. So now I'm going to go ahead and do our bust caging for the lining part. Okay, so I'm just going to be curving it just as you see me demonstrate with my fingers. At this point, it depends on how you want your bust caging to come out. So I'm just going to go ahead and sew like so. I'm going to sew on it like you see me demonstrate with my boning. All right, so this boning, you can sew on it, so you can just go ahead and be creative around your bust area. So this is what mine looked like by the time I was done sewing on it. You can see how it came out. Okay, you can go ahead and insert more boning to yours. It depends on what you want and depends on how busty the person is that you're making this dress for. So this is the front piece. This is what it looks like. So now I'm going to go ahead and insert my boning on these lines that you see. Okay, you can also go ahead and create more boning channels for your corset. All right, so I've gone ahead to sew in my boning with my black piece, all right, just as seen. So I'm going to be sewing it on these channels like this. There are various ways you can achieve this particular part. Okay, so this is how I did. I cut out my black piece approximately 1 inch, then I inserted my boning into it before I sew it on my dress. Okay, you can decide to sew your black piece on your dress first before inserting your boning. It depends on how you want it and how easy you feel it should be for you. So this is what it looks like by the time I was done joining, inserting my bonings on all the side I wanted. I'm also going to be inserting on the center. I'm also going to be doing adding others at the side as well. At this point, you can be creative with your boning and impute it however you want the design to come out. Okay, so I'm going to be adding at the center and I'm also going to be adding at the side. Depends on what you want, again, like I said. So I'm also going to be inserting my boning at the three parts, that's the 3 channel at the back piece. I'm also going to be doing that for the back pattern, and I'm going to come right back and show you. So this is what it looks like by the time I was done. So I'm just going to be inserting 2 to each on the sides. All right, so so now I'm going to go ahead and insert my channel for my rope. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Mine was approximately 2 inches. So while I'm sewing the lining to it, I'm going to be covering it up with my lining, and I'm going to be inserting my rope. Okay, so at this point you can just be creative. Ensure that you mark the point that you want it to be. At least it should be 1 inches apart, all right, while you are sewing. Okay, at this point you can go ahead and insert your eyelets. Okay, I didn't have the eyelets machine and I didn't want to go to the market anytime soon, so that's why I'm using this method. You can go ahead and close up if you want and insert eyelet at this point. Okay, so I'm going to be using this method. So just go ahead and mark 1 inches differences for how you want it to be. So this is what it looks like by the time I was done. Okay, I've gone ahead to sew in the lining as well. You can see how beautiful it's looking. Then for the front piece, I've also gone ahead to insert my lining as well at the back, at the front part. Okay, so now I'm going to bring my back piece. You can see how beautiful our corset is coming out. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the back piece. I'm going to be sewing lining to lining and fabric to fabric, just as seen. Okay, so this tutorial is actually an advanced tutorial, but if you're a beginner and you follow all the steps that I did, you will understand what I did here and come out with a good result. So I'm going to go ahead and join lining to lining and come back for it to see, okay, this is what it looks like by the time I was done joining it. I joined the lining to lining and I joined fabric to fabric. So this is what it looks like. Alright, we are almost done with this tutorial. So to hem the down part, I'm going to be measuring what I have at my hip point at like so, and I'm going to be cutting it out in a biased form. That to enable me, I'm going to be cutting it out in a biased form. That's to enable me close it the down part neatly. Okay, so you can decide to cut out your fabric or cut out the black fabric. This is what it looks like by the time I was done. I hope you learned one or two from this tutorial. Okay, thank you so much for sticking with me to the end, and I'll be seeing you in my next video. Don't forget to send me pictures if you tried something on this. All right, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next. Bye.